What's up, y'all, to the fourth episode of the Unity or Death podcast. I've been super excited for this one. I thought it was last week because I can't read, even though she told me straight up that it was this week. I was promoting it and everything. It was great. But we have my favorite freaking person on Twitter on today, Miss Skye. What's up?
What is up? I'm so happy. I've been excited for this as well. A lot of people suggested it before it even happened. And then now we're here.
Yeah, I mean, you have the same thing I do, to where it kind of like shoe on head as well, to where your followers are like everybody. Like you have Trump simps, Tulsi Gabbard people, communists, anarcho-capital, everybody follows you.
I know, I love it. I really do love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. If I was stuck in one little clique or group, I would just fucking be miserable.
Right? Yeah, that's how I feel too. And it's so funny because when you have that, you notice that everyone's complaining about the same shit. They're just
with different terms, just different labels. It's just really the same shit, but the reasoning and how to fix it is just different.
Right. But no, we're not allowed to talk to anybody, though. Just stay in your little bubble.
Exactly. Or if it's not, then you should be shunned by your original group.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, seeming like you're most famous for destroying people's favorite politicians. I wanted to start with the question I want to know really bad. Of these four people, who has the worst simps?
Oh,
Bernie Sanders, AOC, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden?
Okay, Bernie Sanders, I don't go in on Bernie enough to even see how bad they are. But the few times I did bring him up, they were very civil. I have to be honest. They were. The AOC fanboys, they are so massive in numbers that they're always a part of my life. They're always in my mention. There'll be someone who will attack me over a post, but it's a little bit weird. It's like they're picking at something, and I'll go into their username, and you'll see AOC all over their shit. And they're just going around talking to anyone who fucks with AOC. I don't know if they're paid or they're bots, but they're very obsessive as well. But the Tulsi stands, are hilarious to me, because I think if it wasn't for the fact I didn't like Tulsi, most of my following would be Tulsi stands, because we get along so much on so much shit. But as soon as I talk about that bitch, when I tell you they click up, they're the funniest. I would say they're the most, AOC fans swarm, but they don't stay. There's so many of them that different ones come and go. But there's Tulsi stands that will just fucking stalk and harass me over and over and over. I went on Slow News Day the other day, and someone we didn't even talk about Tulsi like that. And someone DM'd him you have Skye Daddy and she's spreading misinformation about Tulsi Gabbard or whatever. And I'm like,
all I've seen you post about Tulsi is that she supports gun control, which she does. It's on her fucking website. Okay, if she so many just simple democratic stuff. Yes, I do understand that she's better than 90% of people, but you got to understand the bar we're working with here.
Exactly. Also, I'm an anti-imperialist, and she's way too cool with Zionism and all that shit and what's happening with Palestine. So for me, that was no, I'm definitely. She signed on the anti-BDS law, and pretty much it was just a law to try and make it harder to boycott Israel. So if they're doing something you don't want and you want to get together and kind of boycott their products or something of that nature, it's just censorship. And I think she has some weird views on digital censorship as well. So I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan, but I like her better than AOC. I see why people like her, but still. But most of them are guys, and they just think they're hot. She's hot.
Yeah.
And people she got a fat ass though, which is joke.
That's to say, you could just add a Google Translate bar to all the Tulsi defenses, and that's what it'll translate into.
Exactly.
Is she's kind of cute though.
Exactly. And then the Magna people are kind of moderate with how bad they are. There's the super racists who will go off, but the majority of Trumpers, they just take it on the chin. We'll disagree. We'll even do a little debate. I'll even get bitchy, and they'll be cool, and they'll move the fuck on. They move the fuck on. Now, don't get me wrong. There's 30% that are just uber racist, and they'll just start fucking doing racist shit. But the majority of them, man, they're not that fucking bad. I really think they got I think because the zealot ones and all the fucking propaganda around Trump, and they're pushing that, oh my God, Trump is ruining the country. Look at all these Trumpers, and they would show the worst of the worst. But I would say the mass majority of them are just, misled like the rest of them. They're not that bad, at least with me. That's my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I consider them more boring than dangerous more often or not. Like, so, in particular, they don't respond to like pushback in like actual pushback in a way that a lot of people would expect, because when I went to Lansing, because a couple of the BLM girls were getting like fucked with by like Trump supporters and like pushed around and everything. Mm-hmm. As soon as we showed up with guns, they got real polite. they were all like, let's have a civil conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is how group shit always is. When it's just one person in the group, it really brings out the worst of that whole fucking group.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing with everybody, and that's like the whole. That's why I'm glad you see through it, and so many people are even more so are starting to see through it when it comes to like people like me and people like Trump supporters, and even people like even the right is starting to be less shitty towards BLM because they're like, wait a second, I'm starting to actually understand what's going on here, and maybe it's not what Fox News told me it is.
Yeah. I don't see as much as that, because I kind of with BLM shit. I just think the corporate entity that is BLM is missing with the message, and that's making a lot of resistance as well. And the whole George Floyd shit, it's just a lot of propaganda like that. What happened on either side? Like, we don't know who came into those protests and did what, So I think that got convoluted. I really think the Black liberation movement needs to make a hard cut from the BLM corporate movement. I really think it's imperative, because to me it's more performative at this point. I'm pretty sure, I don't have the article of what corporations were investing in it, but they were investing in fucking BLM organization back in 2015.
Yeah.
So we knew this was going to be a profitable thing to co-opt. So I really just think there needs to be a cut for the BLM movement, for the Black liberation movement, or it's just going to be performative and divisive.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people forget about it, but it's like one of my favorite things Hotep Jesus talks about, of like in the very beginning of the BLM movement, a lot of the leadership was like locked up or killed because they started asking where this money was coming from and where was it going. And a lot of those people turned up dead. And that was way back in like Trayvon Martin and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So like that shit has no legitimacy for me. They don't speak for me. And they just kind of took over all the protest movements. When it comes to racial equality, and to me, it's just dividing. And there's a way to. I definitely think there should be fight for it, but there's a way to go about it. And I'm just so denounced of anything BLM at this point.
Yeah, that's why I'm so glad that all the local chapters are like gradually like calling them out and breaking off. Like Chicago did that, New York did that, DC, and then even famously a couple weeks ago, Breonna Taylor's mother like called out the national organization. It's like, you've never done shit for me. You running around with my daughter's name on your lips, but you can't even show up to my house. And it's like, ooh,
disgusting. And then that's why I try to tell people, like, don't be mad at people who don't validate your views. Be mad at people who are co-opting your views and using it against you. Like, people don't have to agree with you, but when you try to fucking take Black trauma and fucking profit off of it and then divide and get us further away from our goal, like, hell no. And I can't stand BLM.
Yeah, I mean, like I witnessed it firsthand, like the difference between like the local Black liberation movement and then BLM at Breonna Taylor's memorial in Kentucky, because the day event was run by like DNC types, and we were like there was marches through the street and there was a shit ton of people and there was a fuck ton of cops, but nobody got messed with at all. And then the nighttime protest was the local activists, and we had 300 fucking riot cops deployed on us. It was like,
exactly. And that happened at protests. Yep.
And the conservatives don't see this because they only get one lens. And I try to talk to them when you're like, oh, well, they'll say shit like the cops will shut down a Trump supporter protest, but they won't shut down BLM protests. And it's like, well, they won't shut down the DNC ones. Yeah. But the moment somebody starts calling out like Barack Obama and Joe Biden and stuff like that, the riot cops show up real quick.
Yeah, trust. Trust. And it really is. It's this huge bias of, hold on, my freaking notifications are still on.
Oh no.
Okay. But that's what I see a lot. It's just this bias on both sides. Like, they will not see that anything that happens to one side, I guarantee happens to the other. I don't think that the Trump people who were when they were protesting lockdowns and shit, which I don't think there's anything wrong with, let me go on record. When they were protesting lockdowns and shit, they didn't get fucked with like the BLM crowd when they were that summer when George Floyd and all that shit happened. Like they got way more fucked up. And so I really don't see where, that bias comes from, but it does both sides. It doesn't matter. The tribalism is crazy. It really is red versus blue for most of these people.
And that's like they kind of fucked up though with the lockdowns and the George Floyd stuff going on at the same time, because like my whole movement and then a bunch of other people, where a lot of people had never gone to protest before and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. And you started seeing like these BLM people and these Trump people like start having conversations and shit started clicking in their head. And they're like, wait a second, something's going on here. And that's when like the media flew in and like they stopped talking about Breonna Taylor because they had like Trump supporter 3%ers marching side by side with like BLM activists in Louisville. Immediately stopped talking about Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. Anything that can unite, they're going to, unless they unite, but they're going to unite people against a common threat. If they can't unite people against a common threat, they're never going to fucking unite. And that's like the most dangerous fucking thing, as I'm sure you are aware of more than I am at this time.
I'm saying, hey, don't sell yourself short. I guarantee you'll get a knock on the door from the FBI sometime in the next couple months.
The name of AC and St. Tulsi, I rebuke it.
Yeah, you're gonna be like that one poor kid that got visited by California Highway Patrol for saying he was disappointed.
That's so insane. How? And then they fucking stand by this bitch. I cannot stand them. But honestly, I just I really don't think there is. I think the people who are going to come around were almost always going to come around. I think it's really the liberals and the leftists and all the tribals, the fucking right, the conservatives, like anyone who's too attached to those labels, they're never going to really kind of break free of it at this point. I think there's a lot of people who are kind of wavery. They call themselves these things, but they're kind of wavering. And because we all just go for labels that are already there, the whatever. But I think those are the people who are going to unite. But as you know, there are people who that's going to be watched as well.
Oh yeah, I mean I didn't even think about it, and a lot of the original interviews I went on, it was so funny because everybody's like, "You kind of remind me of Fred Hampton. You want to know what happened to him?" And it's like, "Thanks, guys."
It is. Me and Steve was kind of talking about that from Slow News Day. We're like, we kind of accept our fate, like because for me, I'm pro commune. I believe in activism off grid. That's where I'm going to do my shit. I want to create communes for people who do not want to assimilate to the new normal, for us to live out the fall of the empire until the fucking drones come. And it's funny because he was like, eventually we'll get visited by the drones. And it's funny because I'm like,
everyone's going to get Waco'd 100%.
Exactly. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get out to the communes, create spaces, and arm ourselves until the inevitable comes, and it is what it is.
Yeah, because that's the funny thing is everybody like a lot of like both us and the Black nationalists like together. People always run these narratives of like, oh, they want to take over the country and they want to overthrow the government and they want to start a second civil war and stuff like that. And then you actually listen to like people like me and you and other people, and we're like, no, we just want to like buy some land and be left the fuck alone.
Exactly. Just leave us the fuck alone. That's it. And Malcolm X, I think that's why he, was cool with that one dude, I forgot his name, but he was an actual white supremacist. And they agreed that, we don't want to be around each other. We don't want to unite in life. We just want to be able to stay the fuck away from each other and not be fucked with by the fucking government. And I'm okay with that. I don't give a fuck. The people who are bothering me right now are not any labels that people are throwing around and trying to scare and create and demonize. The people who are bothering me is a fucking state. So that's who I'm worried about.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite memes of like, these people are so anti-racist that they insist that you live in the same country as racist. And it's like,
like, let them go. And that's what I think. I think it's so, and I don't know why it's so fucking controversial that we're all not supposed to live. And I'm not talking about by race. I'm talking about beliefs. I think there are people who will choose to separate based off race, and I just don't give a fuck. If you only want to be around black people, go be around black people. That's cool. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? You want to go be around white people? Have fun. Go do that shit. Like, and then the people who want to mix will fucking mix. And I just don't see a fucking problem with that. We all weren't supposed to fucking be in close proximity with each other. Someone who's trans and very pro-gay and very flamboyant in that stereotypical way, which is nothing wrong with, is not going to fucking get along with a super uber redneck who's super traditionalist in that very traditional way. And it's fine. They don't have to. Trying to make a society where we have to validate each other or we can't function is fucking stupid. Like, it's stupid. Like, I don't want to live around liberals. It's not I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. I don't want to live around Republicans. Black, white, libertarian. But I'd probably get along with a lot of libertarians. Anarchists, I'm fucking cool with a lot of them. But I don't want to live around certain people, and it's fucking okay. But at the end of the day, I think that's really a truth that people aren't really accepting. So if I can't separate from this person, then they have to think like me. Because that's the two options. It's constantly live in chaos with people with contradiction values and constantly be in this conflict, or just be okay separating and going about each other's fucking lives.
Yeah, it's always the analogy I use of, like, you're locking 10 people in a room with a single loaf of bread and then dropping a handgun in the middle of it. It's like, yeah, people are going to fight if you don't let people out and spread out and breathe. And, you know, people always call anarchism and like communalism and separatism and all this stuff like these crazy ideas, but then turn around and be like, hey, this country that's an entire continent over hundreds of thousands of square miles with 300 million people all have to get along and be very delicate with like super powerful tools of oppression. That's really reasonable, but like splitting up into little countries is the same. No.
Exactly. It's like we have the states, the lines are there. Let's not overcomplicate it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do a fucking draft, something, but it's just never going to it's never going to work. It was the melting pot experiment. And I'm a very like diverse person. I would hate to be around one of anything. Like, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be around all white people. I don't want to be around all black people. I don't want to be around I love diversity. I love culture. I love experiencing different things. That's me. But I mean, I understand that I am divisive based off beliefs. There's just I don't want to fucking deal with that shit. And if people don't want guns in their community, I don't think they're wrong. Let them have a community that's gunless. You know, like there's a pro-gun person who believes in the right to bear arms and someone who has just demonized guns. They're propagandized. They're scared of that shit. They'll never feel safe around it. Their cohabitation is just not possible. And I think that's fine. Go be gunless elsewhere. I love my fucking guns.
Yeah. Get your space. I'm okay with you getting your space. Just go get your bubble. That's perfectly fine.
Exactly. Go in your safe space.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, like I lived everywhere. I'm very, very cosmopolitan. And that's kind of like the three branches I've heard it described as you have like the isolationist, you have the globalist, and then you have the cosmopolitan. Yeah. I don't want to be left alone. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't want the entire world to agree with me. I want to be able to go to like India and experience Indian culture, like go to the South and experience Southern culture. I like this. Both sides are trying to like homogenize all of this shit really hardcore, and it's so boring.
Yes, it is. But I do agree. I didn't find it boring, but I do agree why most people, and I know it's so fucking like controversial to say, but I totally understand if black people want to be around fucking other black people. Like, if that's how you base your shit off of, that's fine. I understand why people prefer their own race. I find it simple, and I think some reason it's because it's a simple way of living, and I don't judge them, but I understand that shit. I just don't think we should all fucking have this great little civil war about it instead of just fucking dealing with that shit. But again, I know we're all divisive in our own ways, because again, though I want to experience different shit, like living, there's just certain people I just do not want to live with. I just do not like the archetype. Like, again, liberals for me.
And especially for people where like we don't have really a place yet. I mean, there might be a place somewhere for me that I can fit in, but like I've lived in the rural ass South. I lived in the inner city in Chicago. I've lived in Detroit. I've lived in Nashville. I fucking hate all these people, you know? So it's like, where's my space? Because they always tell you just like, oh, just move. And it's like, where, you know? I can move to a rural community and then get locked up for, possessing marijuana or something like that. And then I can move to a city and get my door kicked in for owning a gun. It's like, pick your death.
Oh my gosh. I think about this shit all the time. Like when you think about states, like right now I'm in Florida, right? And I was like, okay, Florida's going to be okay. They already, Ron DeSantis did all that shit with the vaccine passports. They seem like they'd be going against shit. It will delay the inevitable. But then they did that stupid ass anti-riot bill law, which is fascist as fuck. Like that shit is so vague that there could be 3 people arguing and then someone hits you with a fucking car and then they're okay. Because if there's 3 people gathering and then a little bit of ruckus, that shit's a riot now in fucking Florida. So, and it's so vague. And there are lots of different anti-riot bills in red states passing and some blue states, but the worst ones are in red states. But Florida, everything's going to be like Florida soon. Like Florida, mark my words, Florida's the worst law, anti-riot bill law, one of the worst laws that have been passed in the, modern fucking history. Like one of the worst, most fascist laws. Like this shit just went along without a hitch. It is so bad. I implore anybody watching to go read what that fucking law entails. And it's like, do I want to stay here now being fucking black? Because I know that if some shit happens or there's a fucking protest or anything happens and I'm around it or my fucking brother's around it, I'm more concerned about him because he's a traditionally 6 foot masculine black male. I usually don't have problems because, white men don't fuck with me. But with him, something happens and there's a confrontation, they have a lot against them. And it's going to be used for anti-lockdown. It's going to be used for them eventually federally pushing passports. If you think that the state has more power than federal shit, I don't know what you've been paying attention to. Anything that federal does is going to eventually go to the fucking state. So these laws are being passed and all the fucking conservatives are like, yeah, well, fuck BLM. This protects small business owners. No, they just sold it to you like that. And they're going to use it against you. And you just fucked yourself. Because when they fucking come for the guns and they're going to go fucking come from the guns and the police that everyone dick is they're on, you know what I'm saying? They fucking love the fucking police. When they come take your guns, and you're trying to protest and organize, you just let them pass a fucking law for them to shoot you and fuck you up.
Yeah, I mean, like when you read into the actual bill and what it requires for them to use these powers, like an inner city gas station on a Saturday night would fit this fucking thing. Like I don't know if anybody been to like a Safeco or something like that at like 1 a.m. That could be declared a riot. Like it's ridiculous.
Yes, it's fucking insane. So now I'm like, do I want to stay here? Because to me, it seems like they're setting the fucking stage for an inevitable fucking protest and all this shit's going to happen. So now I got to fucking play, which I'm like literally looking at different red states because I can't take the vaccine. I'm not taking that shit. That's a fucking hard line for me.
Same.
So
Never.
Never. And so I'm looking at a fucking red state who fucking, because they're all going to do the block the mandatory vaccine passports. And I have to look at the fucking riot bills that's been passed there to see what's too bad. Tennessee's not that bad right now, so might move there. But it's crazy. You don't get everything. Like you have to choose like what you're dealing with. So I totally agree with that. It's really it's like a fucking Jumanji board. It's a fucking board. It's like a game. It literally seems too intentional. It happened to happen this way. Like wherever you go, you're gonna be giving something up.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, my Second Amendment's protected, but they supercharge the fucking police, and I'm gonna go to jail for like possession of marijuana or something.
Exactly.
And I can go to the city, and it's like cool. I can literally strip dance in the middle of the street, like Lansing, East Lansing, for example. They just made it legal to where you can walk around topless as a woman. It's like fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Free the nipple.
Right, but you're gonna get arrested for fucking having a handgun. So it's like,
Exactly. It was like, not good.
Yeah, and I'm in a purple state. I experience that all the time because it's like what you're allowed to do changes on like a monthly basis. I always go to the example of when we were going before we legalized weed, when we were just medical. There was 3 months where edibles were legal and then they were illegal, and then concentrates were illegal and then they were legal, and then they changed how much weed you were allowed to have 3 times in 2 months. So it's like, well, that pop brownie I bought like 2 months ago has gone from like legal to felony like 3 times. So it's like, what the fuck?
I know.
Purple states. I think purple states are worse than red and blue states for that reason, because you never know what the hell is going on.
Yes, chaotic as fuck. Yeah. But I really what state are you in right now?
I'm in Michigan.
You're in Michigan? Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got different places too. I was born in Cuba, came back to Florida. I spent a lot of time in South Carolina because my family was from there. I lived in Japan for like from age like 7 to 12.
That's where the anime comes from.
Yes. Yeah. That's where it comes from. I got obsessed. I started watching it when I was there. And then I came back to Florida and moved all around because I was like a homeless teenager and shit. And then I went back to South Carolina. Then I went to Norfolk. Then I in the military. After Norfolk, I went back to Jacksonville Beach. Then I went to San Diego, Denver, Los Angeles, and then I came back here.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've moved all over, but I've been in like a little bubble. Like I've all been like the Midwest. I've lived fucking everywhere. Yeah. I haven't really gone out anywhere else. But that's crazy. However, damn, that does remind me. I should have added a fifth category to the worst simps. I think police simps are the worst fucking simps of all time. I cannot deal with cop simps. It drives me insane.
I can agree more. The pro police cucks, I would say that they're the worst for sure. Especially because of hypocrisy. Like, bitch, you don't get to hate the government and then love the people who fucking enforce their laws. You stupid fuck. And it wouldn't bother me. It's not the pro police cucks that bother me as much as the fucking, oh, I hate the government. I'm a rebel, anti-establishment. But daddy police me. What the fuck?
Right, the don't tread on me next to the thin blue line flag, motherfuckers.
Don't tread on me. They have ruined that shit. I'm like,
yeah. That's why I have to fly the rainbow one, because I can't fly the regular thing because those fuckers just annihilated it. It's so, and then they took Donald Trump's face and put it like, no, it wasn't his face. They put his hair on the snake, and it was like,
that's fucking hilarious and horrible time, but hilarious. Oh my god.
It's so bad. And seriously, it's just like my buddy just the other day fucking got arrested for going on to a campus. He's like part of like a campus outreach group. And he literally walked on there and they're like, oh, by the way, you're trespassing. We don't allow anyone on campus because of COVID. And he was like, oh, okay, sorry. And then he like starts to walk away and they fucking put him in handcuffs and arrest him. And he's like, you're trespassing. I was like, bro, what the fuck? But again, he should have just followed orders. He should have known it was trespassing. Like blah blah blah. They expect you to have, like, I've always had a problem with the ignorance of the law is not a defense of the law. And it's like there's 100 fucking million goddamn laws, and they're spread out all over, and the laws can change when you cross a fucking county line. Like, how am I supposed to know this shit?
That's exactly like what the fuck. And these people never have any good fucking rebuttal. All they do is spit back propaganda. Like, it's just regurgitated propaganda. It's just, it's disgusting. I just seeing so many men. When I ask the question, when I say, hey, we should, abolish the police. I don't think we should abolish the police without implementing a community police. Horrible idea. I mean, no one hates police more than me. But let me tell you, well, I guess there's some people because, my nigga Donner. But anyway,
can't corner the door in here.
But,
oh boy, that's spicy.
Really fucking, I do not like the police, but if you do not have something in place to protect the community, they're just gonna bring in someone fucking else. We'll be the fucking we're just gonna accelerate the Hunger Games scenario where the peacekeepers come in because now there's no fucking police. But no one ever talks about that. They're just like, defund the police. Okay, and wait, yes, let's do that. Let's do that soon. But what are we going to do in place of that? We have to legalize guns. So people in California, okay, you defund the police. People in California, everyone knows the police is not there. All right. Niggas is about to fucking go fuck up Beverly Hills. And I think that's hilarious because, but everyone doesn't deserve that. All right. So, I mean, like, there has to be some shit in place because there's going to be fucking chaos. There's going to be fucking, it's going to be chaos no matter what. It doesn't matter when they are doing what they're doing and they're implementing all this shit. There's going to be chaos if the working class took over. There's going to be fucking shit. But
yeah, change is iffy. Change happens and iffy shit happens, but that doesn't, like, you have to judge whether the way it is now is going to be worse than it will be. And you're right too, of like, you need to be wary of co-option, because I get into it a lot of like one of the biggest criticisms of me is like I'm very like outspoken against Medicare for all and stuff like that. And the reason why it's the same reason with the defund the police thing is you got to realize that like there's the people that want Medicare for all and want like defund the police and stuff like that. They're doing it for the right reasons, but then it's also being pushed by these corporations and this shit. And you got to look at, it's like, why are they pushing into it? And then you look into it and like with the Medicare for all, everything, these pharmaceutical corporations want to get into it so they can have a monopoly. So it's like, okay, you need to address that. And the same thing with the defund the police shit is they want a federal police. They want federal, Washington, D.C., even more unaccountable motherfuckers running around black neighborhoods and shit. It's like,
exactly. And that's what I am as well. And they're all in the left is like obsessed with these things. And I'm like, yes, I understand. But you have to, instead of saying Medicare for all, say big pharma for all. Because if our healthcare system is completely ran by corporatism and it's ran by big pharma, and then you make that more widespread, I promise you, it's not going to be fucking good. With medical malpractice, all this shit that happened, and they don't get fucking anything happens. They have fucking nothing happens. You can't fucking sue them. No accountability. And then you just give them fucking, well, hey, free fucking disease for all, free fucking medical malpractice for all. Like, we need to do a whole healthcare overall. But people get caught up in these little fucking phrases. I swear to God, they'll fucking do anything. If you just make a phrase for it and a hashtag, they're like, fuck it, let's do it. And they just totally look past the fucking intricate details that fucks us.
Yeah, because a lot of these ideas are good ideas, and I would agree with a lot of these ideas.
Yeah.
But we have to get rid of the giant fucking corporate parasite on top of everything, because if you're going to implement half of the shit anybody wants, not even just the left, like Republicans, conservatives, fucking libertarians, if you did half the shit you want to do without dealing with this giant power structure first, they're immediately going to take it over. Exactly. Like we already saw this shit with colleges. Like the conservatives complain about college all the time. The reason why it is the way it is because there was a predatory fucking system, and then we just dumped a bunch of money into it. It's
exactly. And then exactly. It's like funding, and that's what they don't get. Like the left will be like, oh hey, we cannot fix the police problem with giving the police more money, but they don't get that with the fucking healthcare problem, with all this shit. Like you cannot just put more money at it and fund some shit that's already fucked up. And UBI is like the worst. I'm like, guys, you do not want the fucking government to be the main source of income. That's the stupidest shit. I am so for community socialism. I am so for socialism independent of the federal government. But federal socialism is fucking horrible. I can't really think of a worse scenario. Capitalism sucks. I hate this shit. However, I will take capitalism over federal socialism. Like, no, dog. I mean, like, I do not understand. And it's really hard to say this shit. And that's why I started like wanting to do podcasts and long form. Because I don't know how to put in a tweet that, dude, UBI is a horrible idea because then you just look horrible. And they're like, well, you don't want people to help the poor. Like, no, I fucking do, but that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah. I don't want to give McDonald's and fucking Google and all these mega corporations millions of fucking dollars. Like, no, your politics and what you want to accomplish should be representative of what you're currently living in, what's fucking currently going on. It should not be these abstract fucking concepts. And that can apply to everything. You should be a libertarian because of why it is now. You should be a socialist because of why it is now. And if you are, then you know that, like, I shared that picture of like the 65 billionaires that own like 90% of the fucking companies in the world. It's like, okay, so I'm not going to push for Medicare for all until we get rid of that, because we're just going to give those people even more fucking power. Like, you have to address that shit.
Exactly. But that shit's hard. And little phrases that politicians and political activists push, that's fun and that's simplistic. That's easy to do.
Right. Just little buzzwords, little five letter build back better and shit like that. And it's like,
oh my God. You're fucking build back better. I'm like, y'all have not, they talk to them like children. They literally talk to the masses like children. And I understand why, because they are. Like, seriously, most people are intellectual infants. It's so patronizing. I rarely watch the mainstream news. I almost never. And the last time I watched it was a Derek Chauvin trial and shit. And I'm watching this shit. And it's just like, how does anyone think that this isn't just full-blown, obvious propaganda? It's so patronizing. it's so obvious and patronizing. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't see how anyone watches this shit and they're not completely alarmed that we're in a complete propaganda state. Like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, it doesn't matter. Little phrases and rhymes. And that's kind of why I don't know how, that's why I'm a commune person, because to me, the only way to get to the masses was to be out propagandize them, because that's what they're run off of, you know? Like, it's hard to fight truth with propaganda because propaganda has like a truth defense built into it. They already prepared for people like you. Like, okay, so he's about unity, blah 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 blah, white supremacists. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, in the time it's going to take for me to sue the Washington Post for lying about me, like hundreds of thousands of people have already read that and believe that I call myself a nationalist, because that's what they claim in that article. They claim during that Jimmy Dore interview that I called myself a nationalist. When I like, exactly, I am a communalist. Like, I'm very much about breaking all these fucking countries apart. That is the polar opposite of nationalism.
Yeah.
But by the time that they retract that article or I take them to court or anything like that, you know,
which is done.
What's the phrase? It's something like, in the time it takes the truth to get its shoes on, the lie's gone all the way around the world.
Yep, exactly. And people love to sensationalize things. So if the truth is often boring, and who wants to do that shit? These people love to be entertained, so they love that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole Russiagate entire thing for 4 years, was just Rachel Maddow having a fucking visible breakdown on TV, and people loved it. People love that shit. And same thing with Fox News and everything. Like, as much as Tucker like bullseyes it a lot, Tucker does the same shit of just like this panicked fucking, oh my God, pay attention to this, flashing lights, chevrons, like, look at this. And it's like, dude, how do you not feel like you're in a carnival?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
I don't really watched them. I have to watch them because a lot of people bitch about them. But what I've seen, it just looks like, right propaganda to me, just propaganda.
It's the same shit. It's always the same shit. And definitely, like, particularly when it comes to groups, it always blows my mind, because like, we live in the age of the internet, and every single group has like a local representative and a contact and everything like that. But we talk in these national languages. So like, I don't know why anyone ever says BLM or Antifa or Boogaloo or Proud Boys or anything, because like, if there's a video of like Minnesota BLM beating somebody up or something, I don't have to say BLM. I can say, like, I think it's like the 101 or something like that. That's the organization in Minnesota. I could just say that, like, I could say, like, this is the Proud Boy chapter of Illinois. I can say that this is BLM 757 in Virginia or whatever. Like, all these organizations have names, but they never use that. They always use the fucking big words.
Yes, the vagueness. It really is, because they want to catch all. They want it all to be labeled. And that's why I was going to like, at this point, the BLM chapters who are, separating, they would need a rename, because it's just, that's why they do it, because they wanted to be, okay, well, now BLM is corrupt. Okay, now BLM is doing this. Now BLM is doing that. And they just want that to happen. They just want to have this little umbrella terms where most people can get grouped together. So when you do something wrong, they can discredit you because they already fucked up your label. And that's
absolutely. And like, there's nothing really you can do about it either, because a lot of people get on me of like, well, if bad people have done things under the name of the Boogaloo, why don't you just call yourself something different? And I'm like, this is like the 7th iteration of the fucking name, dude. Like, they will chase you around anywhere you go, anything you call yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, you just be renaming yourself all the time, because they're like, there's a new group, a variant of the fucking strain of the Boogaloo Boys.
Right. Because like I didn't even run as like that. I said I was a representative of the Unity Coalition, and every single article was like representative of the Boogaloo movement, and I was like, fuckers, I hate you so much. You can't escape it. It's ridiculous. And then, I mean, even I particularly on the left, I do not get when it comes to AOC and Bernie and stuff like that. Just today, just before we started, Bernie fucking tweeted defending Liz Cheney.
Yep.
I was like, how? And all the comments are full of these fucking blue wave people that are like, it's because she criticized Donald Trump and that's why they hate her. It's like, your dad's a fucking mass murderer. Like, fuck off.
It's fucking Dick Cheney. Like this who gives a fuck about the Cheneys? But that shit's crazy. I've been to and I think the one thing is that people think, oh, politicians are stupid and they don't know what they're doing and and they're seen as politicians and not propagandists. So people are constantly making excuses for them in their head. I mean, Bernie been fucking pro police. Like I don't know how so many defund the police people wherever Bernie stands, because he voted for the 94 crime bill. He voted for one of the most fucking horrible things that ever happened to the black community. That old bitch, you know what I'm saying?
That old bitch.
I have no idea. And when the whole George Floyd thing happened, he was just like, we need to give the cops more money. Like, that's what the fuck. And they don't care because all they see is him and his fucking little mittens and his
fucking mittens.
His unassuming personality. And they did it. They made this man that has no personality at all. The memes. It was the funny memes. It was a creative fucking idiots who did all this shit with a politician who made him likable. It's literally a projection of their own creativity and endearment. And they just put it on a fucking politician because that's what they do. People love to fucking be self-depreciating and give away their power. Like, It's just fuck. But there's nothing great about Bernie. He was always just some old, boring ass old man. At least Trump's interesting. DeSantis is a funny, untrustworthy cracker. He's I don't see how anyone trusts DeSantis. I'm like, he's the sleaziest motherfucker.
I know you got people in the LP running around being like, DeSantis 2024. And I'm like, you are not looking at what this motherfucker's doing. Shut up. Like you again, like I think with Bernie and AOC in particular, it's the same thing with DeSantis. The only reason why they're so popular is they own the other side. Everyone loves DeSantis because he's owning the libs.
I know.
But then it's like, okay, yeah, he is doing a bunch of stuff against the left, but what's he doing over here? And then you look over here and it's like, oh fuck, yeah, this is gonna screw over every goddamn Republican, every conservative, every anti-police.
Exactly.
It's like, stop it.
Same thing with Trump. They're like, Trump, we were in lockdown more under Trump than we are Biden. And I hate to give Biden anything because fuck that dude. But Trump locked us down more. Like, there's more place. He's the one to do Operation Warp Speed and fucking set up for this whole vaccine fucking medical tyranny thing.
Yeah, had Palantir and all these shady ass fucking corporations and CIA fronts involved in it and shit. That's Trump.
Drain the swamp? Holy shit. How? And then people defended it. I'm like, he lied early on. Like, his cabinet was just filled with the fucking swamp. What the fuck?
Oh, he had to do it to appease the cathedral. It's like nothing about him was about appeasing. That's why you voted for him. It's because he was acting like he was gonna tell all these motherfuckers to go fuck themselves. It's like, what are you talking about?
The cognitive dissonance, yo. Like, why the fuck? And it's just so childish, dude. And I hate, like, and this is another thing. Like, it's totally, anyone who knows what's going on, I'm trying to see how to put this. It really doesn't put faith in other people. It's hard to unite with people who you think are idiots, man. It really is. I don't trust fucking men or women, but especially not men who are on pull to protect you. You're an idiot. You think Trump cares about the working class, all right? You fucking think fucking Biden or AOC gives a fuck about you. I don't fucking trust you to fucking protect me. You're fucking dumb as shit. There's no fucking leadership. No one can trust groups of fucking idiots. And there's like, everything gets co-opted. Everyone has too many bias. And the people who don't have bias, they fucking demonize and put labels on because they're like, hey, he's logical. Hey,
he's doing something. Put that fucker down.
Exactly. Oh, we have an actual leader here. We have someone who's smart enough to see through our bullshit. And then they fucking put those people down. And then people fucking believe it. Because if not, shit would get fucked up. But I mean, honestly, I'm sorry you're in this situation, but if you did get discredited, you'd get Fred Hampton. I'm just being honest. Like, there's a worse step to this, so I understand. But I mean, I really just salute to you, yo. Seriously, I admire you so much. I don't think highly of many people, but you're definitely people I think highly of. Like, you're authentic as fuck. I really respect you.
Yeah, same to you. That's why I was like attracted. I don't even remember how I first found your account. You were kind of just followed on my Twitter one day for some random shit, and then it was just like banger after banger after banger. I'm like, this is exactly right. But you're not wrong. To where like even you know, a lot of people will give me shit for this, but it's 100% true. If you go back to during the civil rights movement, Fred Hampton and Malcolm X running around socialism, communism, black nationalism, black empowerment, blah, blah, blah. They were spied on. They were fucked with by the police or everything, but they were allowed. They were like, okay, you guys can do that. The moment they started talking about fucking unity.
Exactly.
Instantly assassinated.
Exactly.
And that goes to show you of like they'll let neo-Nazis run around, Klansmen run around, black nationalists, communists, libertarians, you do whatever the fuck you want. But the moment you start talking to other people,
you're a fucking threat. And it's a fucking problem.
And that's the same thing that happened to me. I was an activist in this movement for like 7 months, like running around on the streets with guns, doing all shit. I was in multiple documentaries. Nobody gave a fuck about me. But the moment I started talking to anti-fascists and BLM people, all this just fucking full court press. He's a neo-Nazi. He's not actually bisexual. He's fake. His beard's fake. His voice is fake. It's like, oh my fuck. Oh yeah, I've said tons of conspiracy that have a fake beard. There's tons of conspiracy that have a fake beard. It's hilarious.
Focus on when they're trying to discredit you is hilarious.
Well, I mean, like even if you go back to the Jimmy Dore interview, the most popular version of my speech that went around, they pitched my voice down to make my voice deeper.
Wow.
And I guess to make me sound more fash or something shit like that. Like I don't know.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I'm like, my voice is all like this in the fucking video. And then I go on the first podcast and it's me. It's my fucking weird queer ass self. And they're like, are you the same guy? And I'm like, yes.
I saw that interview when all that was happening and going around. And I was trying to figure out what was like wrong with, I was just going into leftist Twitter because I was actually in LGBTQ Twitter, which is a different type of hell. Holy shit.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Get called hetero performative enough times.
Like, bro, you made your whole personality about being queer. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare. But I was just getting into leftist Twitter and shit because someone who retweeted me, and I know they regret it now. I know they're like, oh my God, this bitch is saying crazy shit. But I was seeing that in the Jimmy Dore, and everyone was freaking out. Because I saw it and I was like, hell yeah. I said, damn, this is dangerous. And there's going to be some fallback for this dude. And he's not, this is not part of the show. But I was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Like, I related to this. I like showed my brother. I'm like, yeah, I love this shit. And then I go and I see fucking leftist Twitter in uproar because Jimmy Dore was going to interview you or whatever and just bitching and complaining. And I'm like, I was literally so confused because I did not understand leftist Twitter at this point. I didn't know how much I disliked a vast majority of them. There's some of them, and the 25% of people I really like them. Like, I really like them, but the vast majority, holy shit, especially white leftists, we can't even get onto that. But,
oh yeah, what? That's that. I literally fucking Nick retweeted my video because I watched your when you went on Nick's show. I watched that, and then I released that video bitching about fucking white leftists.
yes.
And I literally said too is like they're okay with waiting to get ultra fucking space communism because they go to Starbucks and they work and then they come home and then they get on Twitter and fucking cry. Meanwhile, like a black person will come out and be like, hey, I'm totally okay with like marching with a Republican to decriminalize marijuana so my son gets out of a life's fucking sentence for owning a plant. And they'll look at him and be like, get in line, black person. How dare you? And it's like,
exactly. I'm telling you, every time they're like, white winger, I'm like, you want to call me a nigger? You want to call me a nigger? I know you fucking do.
You know they do. It's in the back of their brain. They're just like,
they want to do it. And it's just fucking like, and then
the word house starts, going around their brain.
And I'm like, dude, and then they want to shame me because I'm cool with white wingers. I'm like, what the fuck you? Fuck you. You don't fight for medical tyranny. All right. You don't fucking fight for censorship. All right. You fucking will wait. You fucking worship politicians and you think shit's going to happen by voting. Fuck you. I do not fucking care. Anyone who fucking is anti-imperialist or anti-war, they're fucking anti-authoritarian. They fucking don't want to fuck with anyone else. They want to be left alone. They don't want to be fuck with anyone else. I'm cool with that fucking person. Like, I have no fucking problem with them. I don't care. Like, but white leftists is, and they talk about liberals, but they're just watered down liberals. I can't say they're as bad because they're not. That would just be a blatant ass lie. But still, it's just watered down liberalism. That's it.
I ran around all the time when people would claim things about me and my movement. And I'm like, You're a fucking Marxist. You have a hammer and sickle in your bio, and you are trusting multi-billion-dollar fucking corporate media shit. It's like,
it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. I'm like, the commies. I haven't even went in on the commies yet. It's funny because my draft is filled with shit for the commies. I've never seen so much commies who love the state so much. They love, like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, the media is lying about this because it aligns with my beliefs. But as soon as, because it aligns with my belief for them to be lying. But as soon as the media line would discredit their beliefs, oh, now the media is truth tellers. What the fuck?
That's why I call them Marxist liberalists instead of Marxist Leninists, because they're not legit, dude. Especially on guns. If you have a hammer and sickle in your fucking bio and you're talking about gun control, fucking Marx is rolling over his fucking grave. Mao, Lenin, like every single one of your heroes has a quote about do not ever take the guns away from the people, and you fucking cucks are begging the government to do it.
It's insane. It isn't fucking insane. I'm like, it's really just political LARPing. I swear, for most fucking people, it's literally just fucking political LARPing. That's
why I call it a social club, and why they get so mad, because their little Lions club that they have, where they all go to a building and jerk each other off about their fucking politics.
Exactly.
It's starting to break down, and they're getting really mad, and they don't like that other people are starting to actually do things because it exposes them as frauds.
Exactly.
Like how much shit Rome gets. Like Rome literally does nothing but go around and feed fucking homeless people, and these people hate him for it.
More than all of those motherfuckers. That he does more, but because he said some crazy shit, and this is what really pissed me off about that situation, because there's a video and he said some dumb shit, and it's like, dude, we're from the fucking hood, like you little fucking white bitches. I swear, and when I say crackers, I don't mean working class people, I mean the liberals. I just want to let y'all know that when I say crackers, I'm referring to liberals.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I can envision the fucking person down to the shoes they're wearing.
Yes. Those motherfuckers will be like, oh my God, he said he invalidated my feelings. We're from the hood. And that's why another thing that people don't like, I've tweeted, I don't care if someone used to be racist. Like if they used to hate black people, I don't care. I don't give a fuck if you used to be racist and now you're not. Congratulations. You broke brainwashing. Good for you. Like, I don't care who someone used to fucking be. If someone used to be a fucking Nazi when they were a fucking teenager and they were trying to be super edgy and their fucking dad's an alcoholic and they don't fucking know what to fucking do, and someone adopts them or whatever and makes them fucking, think this is a good idea, why the fuck do I care? It's trauma. Like, if being poor is hard. Being in poor fucking neighborhoods is hard. We all fucking say and do dumb shit. We didn't fucking grow up with a woke coach saying, hey, in 2021, people are going to be super fucking butthurt because this is how you felt this day when you were young and in trauma and in pain. Like, it's so unempathetic, and they think I'm supposed to care about their feelings. They don't care about shit. They just care about people aligning with their fucking views. That's the only thing they care about. Like,
yeah, poor people are not politically correct, period. Like I grew up in trailer parks where my mom was from, and my dad was from fucking downtown 7 Mile Detroit, all right? Mm-hmm. Poor people are not politically correct of any race, creed, or color.
Exactly. We don't have time. I fucking starved as a kid. I don't get, like, what the fuck? And that's why I think another thing I think I heard you say many times was, even with, and I'll say it for the black people, for the black people who do grow up in better neighborhoods, yes, they definitely have to deal with racism and racial inequality and all that shit. And I will never take that from them at all. And I want to fight against that. But at the end of the day, to be so judgmental of poor people when you do not understand what it is to be that traumatized in a state and not being able to get your social understanding of socioeconomic things and situation. Like, I understand some people are just going to be ignorant, and I think there's a difference. I don't want to chill with racists. I don't fuck with racists, but there's plenty of people who are ignorant and they're not going to validate my views on racial equality or why there's a problem. And I know they're not racist. They just came from a different place and we have a different point of fucking view. There's still ways to get things done with that person and even have a friendship with people who have deviations in certain issues. Like, it's not a big deal, especially if you're poor. Like, I will say I have a bias when it comes to white people. Like, I like poor white people, and I might be a little more harsher on people who grew up, middle class or upper class. It's true. Lots of time I'm talking about white people, I have a bias for fucking poor white people, because I understand. I grew up around them. Like, I know how the shit is. Like, we don't fucking have time to learn your woke fucking culture. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, so that's why I always explain to people there's a difference between the left and woke. Like, they're very, very different things. Because, I mean, almost every single interview I've given, and like other boogs too, like including like we were talking beforehand of one of my friends in Texas like 6 months ago went on like a BET affiliated like radio show and was like talking to them and shit. And they like the radio host even brought it up of like, when we show up to events, all black people are cool. They're like, happy you're here, happy you're down here, welcome to the event, blah, 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 what you need, what we need from you, everything. It's always the white college people, though, that start getting real fucking weird. They start getting really fucking weird. It's always like in Detroit, I always bring the story up of we walked up to this event and we were doing security and everything like that. And this middle-aged black woman with like 2 kids in a stroller and like another kid over her fucking shoulder, like walks by. He's like, I'm sitting there in my Hawaiian shirt with like my rifle and everything. And they're like, you look awesome. You here from the event? Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And she gave me a hug. Yeah. And then these fucking kids from Royal Oak, which is the college town, are all sitting in the corner like, it's like, fuck you. Fuck you fuckers. They drive me insane.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of them, like, they manufacture their own problems. Like, they don't want shit to be solved because then what are they going to do with, they've built their entire existence around this. So like, those are the people that went and like protested Daryl Davis. It's like, how the fuck are you going to protest Daryl Davis? Like, are you kidding me? The dude has 200 Klan robes in his fucking closet that he's gotten off of people. He's converted more of the Klan than fucking days you've been alive.
Yeah, I know.
And you're going to show up and protest him and call him a fascist? Like, fuck off.
Yeah, that was really, that's fucking crazy to me. Like, that man has the strength I could never do. I could never just go around that many fucking
just walk into a Klan meeting like, what's up, guys? Like,
and I'm pretty good with unity, but that's a little bit too much for me. Like, I can now, so I have so much respect for that fucking dude. And I don't know everything he's done and said, so don't hold me to that, because I might fucking look at it and be like, oh, never mind, he's a coon, sorry. So just from the story.
I only know about his work with the Klan.
Exactly.
I don't know any of his fucking opinions on anything else.
Exactly. Other than that, but I really think that the Black liberation movement is way less performative than the woke movement. Unfortunately, they're too intermingled. And that's why I say I'm unity, but I'm also divisive, because I really think it's very detrimental to the Black liberation movement to be fucking with the wokeness, because they're just doing the division. So us being around this shit and not saying, yeah, fuck off that shit they're talking about, but no one gets to call a coon. And I get it. I don't want to get called a coon, but that's life. If I'm a fucking coon because I'm following Fred Hampton and Malcolm X, then I'll be that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them niggas. But that's just how the fuck is. I mean, really, I think the most important part for unity is separation of certain groups, because I do think it's good to denounce certain things of saying, hey, yeah, there's people in this movement that think this, that, and the other, but we don't fuck with that shit. And for me, that's woke culture of, yeah, that's not the Black liberation movement. That's performative bullshit. And I really hope a divide happens soon.
Yeah, it's just cutting people out that don't fucking do anything more than anything else. Because all the like, every single person who's an on the ground activist and are out all the time and they're doing shit all the time, I never have like, I do have problems with some of them, but for the most part, that's never the people on me. Mm-hmm. But it's always the fucking people that you never see. They're never anywhere. Some fucking anime profile picture or some shit with a fucking 32 numbers in their name, being like, oh, you was such and such, you a race traitor, blah, 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 for talking to a conservative or some shit. It's like, where the fuck are you? And I get this all the time. And I'm actually going to use this as a fucking opportunity to call these motherfuckers out. The Socialist Rifle Association of Michigan and the Michigan Community Defense League are always up my ass, calling me a fucking Nazi, saying I'm not welcome at events and whatever. Where the fuck were y'all the first night of Detroit when a young man was shot and killed at an event? And guess who fucking gave first aid to that kid? Us. We were there. Where the fuck were you when Trump supporters were jumping BLM activists in Lansing? Nowhere. Where the fuck were you in Rome, asked for people to do security for homeless outreach? Nowhere. Where the fuck were y'all in Grand Rapids when the cops were beating the shit out of people? Nowhere. But we were. So fuck all of you, because like you act like this some big communist vanguard armed fucking group out protecting black people with your fucking whiteness and everything. I've never seen you before.
Exactly.
So fuck all you people that do that shit. And that's 90% of those motherfuckers. They'll talk shit about you, Nick, Rome, everything.
Yeah.
They don't touch grass, yet they try to have some fucking
Nico, Fiorella, they talk about all the people. They talk about Nico, Fiorella, Misty. There's so many people who are actually doing shit. And that's all they fucking do. And I'm just so fucking tired of it. But I think a problem is that some people within the movement, I think people are more, I guess, friendly than I am. And I get that. I think that has its place. But I also think, making sure that you're not being influenced by woke culture too much is also a fucking problem. And the same thing with the right wing. I just think they get caught up. I think the Magnus shit. I think if they did not have this Trump fucking cloud over their head, the right wing liberation with the fucking people with libertarians would be so much fucking better.
Yeah.
Because that fucking QAnon people completely got caught the fuck up. Like, seriously.
That shit was an op. That shit was a fucking CIA op from the beginning. I don't know if Steve told you about that or not, if you knew.
Oh, Q?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I say that all the time of like the human liberation movement. Mm-hmm. Like the left, it was going fucking full steam ahead under Bush, and then Obama got elected and it fucking died. Yep. And then the right started doing stuff like the Tea Party, started like arming itself and organizing itself under Obama, and then Trump got elected and it fucking died. And then now, again, a year of riots and fucking defund the police and fuck all these corporations and all this stuff that you've seen on the left. Biden gets elected, and now the protest in Virginia or whatever over that man that was shot and killed had 13 people at it. It's like, y'all were out on the street before. Where the fuck y'all at now? And that's like the main thing for unity for me is just to get all the people that are actually willing to fucking do something and fuck everybody else. Fuck all these performative assholes. Let's do something.
Exactly. And that's really needs to be the fucking thing. But Twitter fucking performative.
Twitter was a mistake.
Twitter. God, I really do love Twitter. I get to meet cool and amazing people. And also, that shit is funny, man. I have a blast fucking with these people. It really is free entertainment. The fact that this shit is free, I really, whenever they get me the fuck out of here, I really will be sad. Because being able to fuck with that many people at the fucking my fingertips with the simplest shit, like the fucking moon landing thing.
We need to talk about that real quick.
I cannot believe.
Oh my god. They tried to cancel you over the fucking moon landing.
Over the fucking moon landing. I was like, bro, me and my friends like sending me tweets of people who were like quote tweeting me and like just tripping out, and people who were like screenshotting me, and they're just all having a jerk fest of how much they fucking hate me.
Seriously, because like I woke up that morning and I saw your tweet and I'm like, okay, Skye's got to be exaggerating. There's no way this is more than like one or two people just being fucking stupid. And I searched it, keyword searched it, and I was like, oh my god, dude, hundreds of people.
Everyone says that. Everyone's like, I thought you were exaggerating until. No, I do not be exaggerating. These people lose their minds over fucking dog. I will tweet something high as hell, and I'm like, I'm gonna fuck with them. And they literally let me. They're just like, it's the most simplistic shit. And like, if you believe in moon landing, that's fine. I think you're stupid, but you can think I'm stupid because I don't believe in it. But
no, Skye. Actually, you're actively hurting Black liberation by believing the moon landing.
None of the Black people believed it either. We're all like, this looks stupid. We're watching the video. So many Black people were DMing me and then fucking quote tweeting. So like, y'all believe this shit? This is stupid. And like, it was really just the white leftists again. White leftists tripping out. Not even that many right wing people were fucking caring. They just didn't give a fuck. It was mostly white left.
It's always the fucking white folks, bro. Like I swear, like I love how it's like a across the political spectrum meme. Like I've seen right wingers and liberals and conservatives and like everyone, socialists, communists. It's the Pepe running towards the button and it says like exterminate white women button. And it's like because it's so true. Of like you saw that lady. What was it, 2 days ago that shared that cringe Boondocks fucking tweet of like, I'm embarrassed watching it because it feels wrong laughing at Black people. And it's like,
oh my god, thinking about like the culture back then, like looking at old movies, in woke culture view, oh my god, they will lose their
I'm surprised Rogan is still around, because you could just look up his skit about magic words and he just hard R on the stage in front of a fucking 1,000 people. He like, yeah.
Oh shit. Well, he probably. Well, I mean.
Well, the whole skit was about words you cannot say because they're magic words, and
Yeah,
and like it's ridiculous. And like George Carlin and the Boondocks are coming back though. They're in a couple months they're rebooting the show and it's coming back. And I wonder if it's going to be like old Boondocks or they're going to wokeify it.
Oh, you know they're going to wokeify it. Nothing happens without them ingraining propaganda into it.
I really hope it just comes back fucking fierce though, and they have like Joe Biden in blackface like episode 1 or some shit, you know.
There's still going to be some things in, but I think it could be like, you know, I hope they don't completely wokeify it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll be real sad if they do.
Yeah, I know it would be horrible to see them bastardize the Boondocks, but
it's the best. It's one of the best. I grew up on that shit.
Nothing is sacred to these people, so we'll have to see. Are they going to be the original people making it?
Yeah, it's the same people, same dudes. So that's why I'm like, maybe. Because like South Park hasn't given up, and you notice how they've stopped talking about South Park. They don't like bringing up South Park.
I haven't even I don't barely watch. The only thing I watch is like anime and like farming videos, and I keep like meaning to watch fucking South Park because I seen like one of the COVID special, and I'm like, they're talking about that shit.
Dude, they made fun of fucking us in one of them. They had us with the Capitol rioters in a Hawaiian shirt and shit. Motherfuckers. I love it. I'm not even mad. I love it.
You know they had to put you guys in it. They put you guys in everything apparently now.
Yeah.
Was it?
What was that?
Wasn't it that they put the Boogaloo Proud Boys device thing?
Oh, yeah, Law and Order. Yeah, Law and Order improvised Boogaloo device. Yeah, and it was like everyone's laughing at that, but then right before that, they're like, arson expert says it doesn't look like Antifa, and it's like, so when they light a car on fire, does it leave like a hammer and sickle or something? Like, what the fuck does that mean? You know, like it doesn't look like Antifa.
But how do you burn an Antifa? Like,
it's so stupid. But I mean, I guess to wrap up, see, we've hit the hour, so we'll start wrapping it up. A perfect example to bring up. Anime, nega woke, opposite of woke. Like anime is the most unwoke shit in the world.
Oh my god. I watched some. Oh my gosh, it's so unnecessarily like sexual and fucking weird and shit. It's fucking funny though, but yeah, it's definitely the opposite of fucking woke.
What to lead us out? What are you watching, or what was the last thing you watched? Because I got mine.
Watch was The Promised Neverland. The first.
Ooh, you're a Promised Neverland fan. Again, little kids getting murdered, not woke.
Yeah. I knew it. As soon as I seen the barcode, I was like, oh shit. It's a metaphor. I'm like, oh shit, they're fucking cattle.
Yup. Let's see. I've been watching. I always forget the names, but it's like Eyes or something like that. Hang on. Let me look up the name of it. Thing for. Oh, god damn it. I can't remember. It's like something Iris Eyes.
All right.
Yeah, it's really good.
You got my DM it to me.
Yeah, I'll say it's really good. It's fucking fits in now with all the AI shit that's going on, how they're openly telling us they're gonna make like prototype mutant humans and put them in space and shit, and Joe Biden's talking about it.
Augmented reality, Space Force. Remember when fucking Trump first said Space Force?
Oh my god, the memes were glorious. I will admit, the memes of like Mike Pence in like a Halo fucking suit and shit was so funny.
Dude, that shit was funny.
Yeah, and Biden and all these lefties and everything were like, this is so dumb and this is a waste of money and this is the reason why we don't have Medicare for all and blah blah blah. And now that Biden's doing it, they're like,
hey, fuck it. But I give leftists that. At least they thoroughly hate Joe Biden, even though they were saying we vote for him and shit. Now that your vote fucking counts, but I see a little bit of an understanding now that at least they got the Joe Biden down.
Yeah, more people are waking up like every day, and thank God for that. They're starting to understand what's going on. But yeah, so thank you for coming on. Where can people find you? I know you said you had a podcast or something, or like a YouTube channel or something in the work. Tell people where you can find it.
I have like a podcast coming. I'm trying to get on Rockfin, but if not, I'll probably just stream on YouTube for now. It's going to be May 12th. And then Twitter, Skye_daddy. And that's where you can find me. Also on IG, Skye Zaddy, no underscore.
I wish I could follow you on Instagram, but I'm just not fucking allowed to be on Instagram. So
I understand.
I'm perma yeeted from all Zuckerberg owned shit. I think I'd need new thumbs to make an account. It's so bad.
Perma yeeted. Oh.
Let's say if I make a new Facebook, I literally hit create account and it says this account has been suspended.
Wow.
They fucking don't want me anywhere on that shit. But first interview I ever gave, they brought it up. They're like, they fucked up because if they would have left you on Facebook with all the conservatives, then there would have been no problem. But they threw you onto Twitter with all the lefties, and you've caused chaos.
Right? Fucking fun.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for everybody for tuning in. And like May 12th, you said, have you created the channel yet? Is there anything I can link or stuff like that? Can you send me that?
Once I do, I definitely will send it to you.
Cool. I'll send you all to that, and y'all gonna have to catch that. You should also go watch her on Slow News Day just a couple days ago, and the Nick Fred Hampton Leftist. He also did that. Those are great shows. Watch all of that. Thank y'all for tuning in. Stay safe, stay free.